Okay, so we've got to do our fifth one. This one is called E, I believe. Fifth one for exam one. Let's do our usual heading, which is M108, spring 21, exam one review, and we are up to E, I believe. Problem number I'm going to problem number 15. 14 is just another similar problem to the one about 14. Just see problem 2 to practice problem 2. Let's go to 15 and do something new. All right, so here I thought we wouldn't get a problem like this. That's how I discussed it when we said it in class. I didn't think we would get a problem like this, but it's not hard. Don't get nervous. It's I thought when they're going to give us problems, they're going to always be when you have factorial problems, they would always have the denominators higher than the numerators, but they didn't. They have these denominators are actually higher. The 7 is higher than the 6. The 4 is higher than the 3. Okay, but it's not going to be any different. Don't worry. It's not going to be any different. Let's take the 6 and the 7, right? So imagine that the 7 is on top and the 6 is on the bottom. That's how we were thinking about it before. But we want to take the largest one, right? So we're using 7 as our biggest. We want to take the largest opponent. And where's its opponent? In the numerator. Since 7, the big one, is in the denominator. To match it up with the largest one, what does it turn into? So 6 over 7, I'll show you the long way, and you can see easily that you can easily extrapolate what the story is. It's 6 times 5 times 3, this is scrap paper, times 2, and then times 1. We always decided to forget about that. The bottom would be 7 times 6 times 5 times 3 times 2. It's the exact same stuff, just in reverse. What's left on the bottom is 7. What's left of all these things? What do they turn into? They turned into 1s. So this is 6 over 7 is the same, 6 factorial over 7 factorial is the same as 1 over 7. They're gone. It's gone. Never to come back again. What about 3 over 4? You can tell. What do you think is going to be on the bottom over here? There's going to be a 4 on the bottom and a 1 on top, right? So everything will cancel except for the 4. Where will that 4 be? On the bottom. Exactly the same thing that happened with 706. 4 over 3 will happen the same way. You can do it the long way yourselves if you like, but I think it's pretty clear. What are they doing on each other on top? They're multiplying each other in the numerator. They're multiplying each other in the denominator. So what's the bottom line answer, final answer? 1 over 28. 7 times 4 is 28. Problem over. That's it. 15 is done. All right, so I wasn't expecting this. It's true. That's how I put it in class. But okay, they threw this at us where the denominators are bigger than the numerators, but it's just the same exact stuff, except now you treat the denominator as the more important and the numerator as the less important. Okay, so I think it's pretty clear how to do that problem, despite the fact that we weren't expecting it. It's the same principles, the same exact stuff. Here comes an easy one. They're throwing us an easy one for once. 81% supposed to be turned into decimal. Okay, where do you go with your decimal place? The visible decimal place is right over here. Do I go to the right or do I go to the left? Answer is I go to the left. When I'm going to percent the decimal, I go to the left two places. It becomes 0.81, 0.81. Strip the decimal, percentage sign out of there. We've turned it into decimal. And the final answer is 0.81. That's it. No more. Nothing else to do. So it's one of the few short questions here. Here comes number 17. It is, forget it. It's not worth it. We need a clean piece of paper. This one's a big one. This really eats up a lot of space. It's another Venn diagram story, so it eats up space like crazy. Okay, so I go to a second page over here for problem number 17. Top left corner. Let me put my 17 there. Okay, so now they give us a whole bunch of information. That's the usual story. 691. For some reason, either Alex or the book or both, or it works with the book, like this drug trial stuff. 691 in drug trial. This was written before COVID, I think. This textbook. I'm quite sure it was 3, but I don't know about what Alex. Maybe Alex decided with the drug trials that they wanted to give examples like that. Anyway, whatever. That's really not nothing to do with what we really need to know. That's their example. 691 in drug trial, in a drug trial or trials. 3 side effects is what they were seeing from the patients that were given this experimental drug, whatever it was. I'm just making up the story. It's not important. 286 are, here's what's important, the data. 691 in all. 286 reported dizzy. Now that 286 doesn't give any extras about it. Could be a lot of people with other symptoms besides dizzy that are included in the 286. We've said that many times. I keep repeating it. It's probably worth repeating to make sure that's clear. Now 89 is very specific. This they're good about. They say it includes people that were dizzy and anxious. So there's going to be 3 things here: dizzy, anxious, and nausea. So you right away know that there's 3 balloons. I can discuss that in a second again. Give me a chance. Hold on. Let me get this data out. Get data out. Dizzy and anxious. All right, but they're very specific, but not, right? So it does not include this figure of 89, not nausea. All right, so that's important when they tell us these details. That's very important. Okay, 56, they tell us, is dizzy, ditto for that, and nausea, and nauseous. But I'm just going to put right nausea. So they get the dizzy and the dizziness and the nausea, but not anxious. But not anxious. Okay, now I want to save some space because I really would like to have the Venn diagram right underneath there. So even though it's much clearer if I will put it in a vertical line, but I have a good reason why I'm doing this because I need some space. I'm putting the next piece of data, 73 nausea only. The fact that it says only is going to be very helpful. Then we're told that 127 are anxiety. Let me separate them. 127 is anxiety only. Anxiety only. 112 dizzy only. 112 dizzy only. Okay, the only is very useful information. And one last piece of information they give us, this is it. 622 had at least one of the 3. Had at least one of the 3 symptoms. Okay, that's all their information. It's it's a significant amount of information, but that's it. Okay, now I have no choice. I'm going to have to move this up, and I'm going to have to hide some of the information. I suggest if you're going to watch this video at home, you write it down on a piece of paper so that when you see the rest of what I'm doing, you can see it. You can see all the stuff in front of you at the same time. I just can't get both halves of the paper over here on the screen at the same time, so I'm a little bit hamstrung here. Okay, so there's three balloons. I'd like to make them as big as possible within this context. Here's one balloon, obviously. Here's 2 balloons. And here is 3rd balloon. Okay, so they'll have little boxes. They'll have little boxes open up waiting for a number, right? First of all, before I do that, sorry about that. D for dizziness. It's important to label them, obviously. Or else how you know what I'm talking about. D for dizziness, N for nausea, A for anxiety. Those are the 3 symptoms. Right, that's all we saw, 3 symptoms, you know they're 3 balloons. If you see 3 things in there, you know they're 3 balloons. We've discussed that, after all. So they'll have boxes in all the places of the football. Box. They'll have a box on the outside, and you got to fill in the numbers. Okay, now, the 286, the 691, there's only one thing missing from above here, so I can afford to do the following. This was a 691 in all. 691 in all. You got all the numbers now in front of you, okay? The 286 is the next number after the 691. 286 dizzy. 286 dizzy is not good for us. It doesn't help us much because it includes a lot of people. So 286 is nothing I can write in over here. 89 are dizzy and anxious, but not nausea. That's great. They're dizzy and anxious, but not nausea. They belong over here. Here's where the 89 goes. 89 is here. Dizzy and anxious, but not nausea. Next piece of information. 56. Dizzy. Where's 56? Right here. Let me show it to you with my cursor. 56. Dizzy and nausea, but not anxious. Dizzy, nausea, not anxious. So I can't be in the anxious balloon, but it belongs right over here. Is 56. We're getting somewhere. 56. Okay. Next piece of information. 73 nausea only. I know to put 73 in nausea only. Nothing else but nausea. 127 anxiety only. 127 anxiety only. 112 dizzy only. Right? I'm getting all those three from right over here. Right over here where my cursor, you see my cursor. Okay, now I got the 622, at least 1 of 3 symptoms. Not helpful yet. Not helpful yet. Hold on. What should I do next? Okay, here's my scrap paper right over here. I might have to use both sides for scrap paper. Here's scrap paper. I know that 112, look at dizzy. I can get all the dizzy together. Watch this. All the ones that I have, all the numbers I have. 112, and you'll see what I'm doing in a minute. Just bear with me for a second. 56 and 89, I'll explain myself in a minute, is equal. You add them all up and you get 257. Okay, so you ask, fine. These three numbers add. Now there's one empty part of dizzy that I don't know, but I can figure it out. Look, there's 286 in dizzy completely, and all the other ones comprise everything else but that empty space is 257. I subtracted 257 from 286, and I get 29, and now I have that number done. 29 is ready to go. It's in there. I got that number in there. Okay, here's the next thing that I can show you. We got the number 29, and now I need to show you of the. I'm interested now in the following number. I want to get this space done. I want to get this space figured out. We have all the numbers in the dizzy, nausea, and anxiety except for that one thing. Here's the strategy. Let me show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll explain it a little bit better. Hold on. I don't need this anymore. Take the 286. 286. Where am I get the 286 from? The dizzy. All of this is 286, right? We've already discussed that, right? So this balloon is taken care of. Add the 73. Add 73. Add the 127. The 127. You get 486. Let me show you what I'm going to do with that 486. 486. Now, 622, that's the last piece of information, had at least one of 3 symptoms, right? See, at least 1 of 3 symptoms. If the person had 1 of 3 symptoms, they belong in these balloons. What's the missing piece of information in this balloon? There's 622 of all 3 balloons together. You add all the balloons together, everything in the balloons, you get 622. We have everything except for that blank, minus 486. That's the 486 figure. Everything except for this blank is 486. We just added it up. Subtract 486 from 622, you get 136, and now I know the number that belongs inside this blank space here, 136. There is one last thing to do. And I want it on this page, so I'm going to do something a little bit unusual, a little bit messy. I'm going to use this as scrap paper right here. Scrap paper right here. Scrap paper right here. What do I want? I want the last number. There's going to be a box here. They're waiting for you to put a number outside the balloons and inside the box. Okay, take the 691, subtract the 622, and you get a total of 69, and that is the number that belongs outside the box. Okay, I'm going to end this video, and we'll see what happens. That's the final answer for this.